All right, everybody, good afternoon and welcome to Community Chats for Wednesday, this first day of July. We are so delighted that you are here with us. My name is Anthony Saracusa, Director of Community Engagement at the University of Mississippi, and I am joined, as I almost always am, by my inimitable colleagues, Aaron Peiser Oath and Dr. Jody Holland. If you are a follower of Community Chats, you already know that this conversation series is a joint initiative between the Lafayette Oxford Foundation for Tomorrow and our office, the Office of Community Engagement. And the purpose is simple. It's to allow individuals who are making a positive difference in our region to tell their own story in their own words. Who are they? What is the great work that they're doing in our community? And what does the vision for the future look like? Would you like to be interviewed on Community Chats, or do you know someone that we should interview? Get in touch with us. You can send us a direct message on Facebook, or you can send us an email at engaged@olemiss.edu. Today, we are so very lucky to have with us Sarah McLellan of the Lafayette County Literacy Council, and she has got some wonderful things to share with us. And Sarah, I'm so delighted that you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here too.
Awesome. Well, let's just jump right into it. We want this to be your time and your space. So get us started by sharing a little bit about where did you grow up and how did you end up in Lafayette, Oxford?
So I grew up in Caruthersville, Missouri. It is a small town in the Boot Heel of Missouri, about 6,000 people. And I came to Ole Miss because both of my parents came here. It's only about 3 hours from Oxford. A lot of people hear Missouri and they're like, wow, that seems so far. But it's not that far. And so I came to school here because both of them came here, grew up, coming to the Grove, and it's really the only place I wanted to be.
That's great.
Well,
thank you so much.
That is great. We're glad you're here and you're glad you're making an impact in our community. Tell us about your position and how you really came about getting the position.
So I'm the executive director at the Lafayette County Literacy Council, and I believe this is my 5th year. It's all running together at this point. I have a background of elementary education and marketing, and it was really just the perfect fit for me when I was at the time looking for something. It is a part-time position, but it was something that would just help me get out in the community, meet more people. It was a way to just, get involved more, a way to use my background, which is education, but then also marketing, which was a way to get out and spread the word about our Imagination Library program and to help adults achieve their literacy goals.
Great.
Woohoo. So tell us a little bit about the Literacy Council and some of these programs.
So this is our 25th year, which is really cool. And we were going to be celebrating that at Reed's Beats and Eats this year, which I'm sure all of you know did get canceled because of COVID, but we can celebrate it next year. Our biggest program, I would say, is our Dolly Parton Imagination Library program, which we just celebrated the 10th year for having that here in Lafayette County. And that is for any child that is in Lafayette County, birth to age 5. They can register and they will receive a free book in the mail every month until they're 5 years old, and then they graduate from the program. And we have around 700 to 800 children that are registered for that program right now. So that's our biggest program. Another program we have is the ABLE program, and that is for adults in Lafayette County. It is for 18 years or older. ABLE stands for Adult Basic Literacy Education. And we have coaches that work with the learners. We can also have a classroom setting for them. And we help them with what we used to call mainly GED, but now we're calling high school equivalency test. You may have heard that. It's called the HiSET. Or it could just be someone that needs help reading better. It could be someone that needs help with their driver's license test, anything that they may need help just in reading. We also have the Children's Book Festival, which also was canceled this year because of COVID. And that is for every first grader in Lafayette County. That is for all public schools, all private schools, all homeschool children. As long as they're first graders, they get to come. We bring in an author. They speak at the Ford Center, and the children receive all of those books. And then the author goes to Square Books Junior, and then the children have the option that they can then go to Square Books Junior and have their book signed by an author. So those are our 3 really big programs, that we focus on throughout the year.
That is so cool. I totally want to be a part of the Imagination Library. I like hearing that. I was like, if I'm too old to join, I understand, but what a neat thing. Sarah, it obviously takes a group effort to pull this together, even if you just use a lot of volunteers. So talk to us a little bit about if you have staff or other volunteers. What's the team that you use to pull all this off?
Well, we do have a staff. There's 3 of us, and we all are part-time. First one, of course, being myself. And the second one is Barbara Wortham. And she works with the ABLE program. She helps coordinate the coaches, the learners. She also coaches many of our learners. And then we also have Carrie Haim. She was our Vista for 2 years, and she has now come on to work with us. And she works side by side with me on all of our programs. Then, of course, we have our board, and they are a working board. They work on every project with us. We meet monthly. There's nothing that I do that they are not doing as well.
Sarah, we said we weren't going to change questions on you, but I am right now because you said something that piqued my interest, and you covered so much earlier about your programs. I want to know about some of the partners in the community. I mean, you said you work with the schools and the bookstore, Square Books. Tell me about their influence and that partnership with all the partners in the community.
So with the Children's Book Festival, we have a separate committee that is actually not our specific board. We'll probably have 2 or 3 from our board that are on that committee, but then we also have librarians from the schools. And then we will also have the public libraries employees there. We will have Square Books employees. So that is how that committee is actually formed. And once that committee is formed, we all work together to choose the book. And then actually Square Books Junior helps us a lot in figuring out, can that author come? Or can we get that book in a hardcover book, which is a really big deal. And they help us figure out, can we get the author here? Once we figure that out, the committee works on, I don't know if y'all know this, but we go into the schools the week before and we do a skit for the kids. We all dress up. We do a really fun skit. And that's what the committee does together with the librarians. We design all this really fun props. We all dress up. And so that is how we do collaborate with the schools, the libraries, and Square Books Junior.
That's fantastic to hear the synergy in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sounds like fun when we all get together to make reading fun and learning fun.
Yes, it is so much fun when we go into the schools and we do the plays. Yes, it is a lot of fun.
So you've already mentioned a little bit about the impact that COVID-19 and the pandemic season has had on some of your events and programs. Can you just talk a little bit about what are some of the other challenges, either in this season or in, quote, normal times? What does it look like? What are some of the challenges you face in doing this work?
Well, those were the 2 biggest for us because the spring is our time. That is our biggest time. We have the book festival, we have Reads, Beats, and Eats. And so, yes, for COVID, we were gearing up for that and had all the books ordered. We were ready. And so that was really, hard just to understand that we weren't going to be able to have the book festival and bring in all the children to see the author. We weren't going to be able to give them the books. And then to not have the fundraiser was hard. We were in heavy planning, collecting items. And that is where we get all of our big money for the year. So those were 2 huge challenges for us to really get through. And now we are working on grants. We are working on thinking of maybe virtual fundraisers to help offset that, which I'm sure so many others are as well. But other challenges, I mean, I'm sure everyone says, you know, financially, everybody's always trying to look for other ways to raise money. You know, we are too. We're always looking for grants. We're always looking for other fundraisers. We've been very fortunate to always have volunteers with the university here. I've always had great interns from the university. That's never been a challenge, you know, for us. But, you know, overall, we just have such a wonderful board and great volunteers and, you know, great community engagement.
Yeah. And Sarah, you know, that's a perfect segue to the next question that we have for you, which is, you know, the rewards that you experience from this work and, you know, the relationships that you build or just the personal satisfaction you derive from the work. Talk to us a little bit about those rewards.
Probably the biggest reward that we all see is through the ABLE program. And that is from our learners who come in and they work so hard and they achieve their goals. And it could be just getting their reading level to the next level. You know, they could be reading on, let's say, a 4th grade reading level and they get up to the 5th grade reading level. Or it could be someone that passes the test, you know, and then they go on to pursue a degree. And then they've got a really neat job that they come back and tell us that they have, you know, and we do have a learner who has done all those great things. And she actually goes with us to speak whenever we go places. And, you know, that's what has probably been the most rewarding for us. Also, whenever we're set up at different types of health fairs and mothers will come to us and say, oh my goodness, my child loves the Imagination Library program, or they'll even like send us videos of their children reading it and they'll talk about how it has really grown their library at home. So, you know, it's definitely a very rewarding program.
Well, Sarah, you know, if somebody listens to this or some of the viewers are watching this and they're like, oh, well, I didn't know about the organization. How would you, what do you need from the community? How can people get involved? What would you say to them?
Well, we are always looking for board members. You know, we've got a super board right now. And like I said, it is a working board. And I do like to always tell people that when they join, you know, it is not just your name on a website, you know, you do work. And so if someone is willing and wanting to volunteer, we are always looking for more board members. Or if you're someone that loves to fundraise and you're just like, you know, I don't want to be on the board, but I'd love to be on your fundraising committee. We have separate committees for all of our different committees. Like if you wanted to be on the Children's Book Festival committee, if you said, you know, hey, I used to be a librarian, I'd love to be a part of that. We are also always looking for ways to engage more in the community. Right now it's hard, but if there were ways, or if someone said, you know what, we need some books right now. I have a lot of books in my office. I'm happy to bring some books to people. You know, if there was a family that was in need of books, then that is a way that I could help. But yeah, so we're looking for ways to get involved, or if someone else is looking for ways to get involved and to help us out, they could let us know.
Great.
So now it's time for our 1-minute moment. Any final message that you want to share with members of the LOU community? Here is your 1-minute platform.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess being the Literacy Council director, read to your children. I think a lot of people don't know that you should read to them, even when a woman is pregnant. Always start reading then, and you should even read to them when they're older. I have an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old, and yes, I have to force them to read. And so I am even reading to them now, you know, so sit down with your child, however old they are, and read to them. And also, it doesn't matter what they're reading. I think a lot of, parents get caught up in what they're reading, or they don't want them to read a graphic novel. That's okay, just as long as they're reading. So that would probably be what I'd want to say.
That's fantastic, Sarah. And what cool work you're doing in partnership with folks across the LOU community, and what a great person to have representing this work of promoting literacy, helping to transform lives. We're so grateful to you and to the Literacy Council for all that you do. And as someone who has developed a love of reading and who can think back to those early influences in my own life, teachers and family members who encouraged me to read. I love in your 1 minute moment that's the message. Get young folks involved in reading and reading all kinds of stuff in different ways. So thank you for all the work that you've been doing and for being on the show today.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
For sure. And to our viewers, thanks all y'all for tuning in. If you didn't catch this initially, or you'd like to share it with someone who didn't catch it initially, just a reminder, we are now on Spotify with our podcasts. We're on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, so you can find us in multiple venues. Be sure to share this awesome interview with Sarah about the great work of the Literacy Council with your friends. Share it on Facebook, share it with your family. Shout it from the hilltops. This is important work, y'all. And we're so grateful to Sarah and the Literacy Council for doing it. Just a reminder, on July 4th, which is Saturday, we obviously won't be here, but July 3rd, we're observing July 4th. So this Friday, we will not have a live community chats, and instead we will rerun our conversation with Teresa Adams from Leapfrog. Similar kinds of work taking place there, working with youth to develop their reading skills and their passion for learning. So check it out on Friday. In the meantime, stay safe, stay engaged, and we will see you on next Wednesday live from Community Chats.